said pharma perhaps is also at the bottom at this point in time. What gives you the confidence that we are going to see a revival there?
Three factors by the bearishness. One is the generalization, which the government of India is claiming, which I think is a night-keeper's dream. Right? And I don't think you can take it. It's not been, you can do generalization if you have a control on the quality of the manufacturer. In America,
so you don't agree with the move towards moving to generic?
It's impractical. I don't say agree or disagree. I say it's impractical. It's unimplementable. Right? Because you don't know the quality of who's making where what.
What about greater price control?
Greater price control, they are having price control. Some 50% of medicines are already under price control. Right? Second thing is, the problem was erosion and enhanced competition and consolidation in America. I think that's coming to a climax. And third is the rupee. I personally feel rupee will also go back to 66, 66 and a half, 67 levels. Right? So I don't say they've bottomed. They might have bottomed or they might be in the process, and I can be wrong.
But what about the FDA-related issues that most Indian companies seem to be burdened by?
It will be a legacy issue, because I think more than a technical issue, it was a cultural issue. Kuch bhi chalta hai. But now Indian companies have realized you've got to be very careful.
So you're keeping the faith in pharma?
I'm keeping the faith. I think it's going to be one of India's very, very large industries. Because see, it's a skill-based industry, right? And you cannot get chemists and this ability anywhere easily. And India is very, very cost. I have an investment in a company like Ahmedabad. What Mylan makes it, what Pfizer makes at 100, Mylan makes it 75. What Mylan makes at 75, Lupin makes it 60. What Lupin makes at 60, that company makes at 40. You can hire a B Pharma at 30,000 rupees a month. I mean, look at the cost differences. And I always have and will have faith in Indian entrepreneurs, that they will be able to capture market share. People forget that Sony started by assembling transistors. So there's a learning curve, and now Indian companies have huge $250 million of research budgets. But that was only possible when the profits went up. And there may be consolidation, all companies may not do well, but I think in general pharma will do well.
One of the other sectors, and in fact we had Warren Buffett on CNBC for about 3 or 4 hours actually last week, talking about the sectors that he believes in and has faith in. He said airlines and the aviation business is no longer a suicidal business. You've kept the faith in Indian aviation as well, Indigo and SpiceJet. How confident do you continue to feel?
See, I don't want to stop out my positions, but I am bullish. Well, if we look at, so we'll talk about Indigo, 84% return on capital. 92% payout, still 9,000 crores cash. Industry going at 20% a year. So I don't know a company which constantly return on capital of 60, 70%, and you have a cash to market cap ratio. Right? His is 7%, Nestle is 3%. So I don't see any reason why there should be bearishness in airline stocks. Not that I'm recommending you buy.
I heard you ask Aditya Ghosh on the Indigo conference call about ATF prices. Not much that he can actually do as far as ATF prices are concerned. That's something that the government has to work on.
Since it is, I felt very disappointed in the call, because at least he must keep a table ready of, he knows what are the constituents of ATF price.
Yes.
He must know that at this dollar rate and this international Singapore aviation fuel rate, this should be the price in India. That's what I asked him. And then I asked him, how's been your capacity, how's your price realizations? So he says, we don't talk about the future. I said, tell us for April. Then he says, no, we don't, this is the past. You're on a conference call. He doesn't know what his realizations are. Then tell me about industry. He says, no, I don't know. What?
I've been listening to you on conference calls, Rakesh. I heard you on the Titan conference call. I heard you the previous quarter on the Tata Motors conference call, this quarter on Indigo. Is there some degree of impatience that's creeping in?
In me?
Yeah.
Not at all.
No?
I'm asking him a very legitimate question. I'm not asking him anything which is confidential. And I'm asking him publicly.
But do you believe that there needs to be greater effort in being more upfront in communication? I mean, that was one of the issues that you were raising, for instance, with the Tata Motors management on the Forex strategy.
Right. I think, I mean, it's difficult, it's too complicated. It's difficult to understand the strategy. So I was just asking them that if you tell us how you're, and after that they did reveal how much they have hedged. I think they agreed later, and they revealed to, not to me, but to analysts.
So what's the bull case then as far as the aviation sector is concerned? Double-digit growth that we've seen for the sector, your faith has been reaffirmed by the performance at least of the listed companies. I'm not asking you about the stocks, but for the sector.
No, I'm asking, I feel if this growth of 20% continues and there is limited capacity addition, then pricing will be better. Right, and I don't see oil prices going up anytime soon.
You talked about steel, and we had Deepak Parekh and Kaushik Chatterjee on the channel yesterday, and Mr. Parekh's bet was that over the next 5 years, he believes the affordable housing scheme is going to be the big multiplier. Kaushik Chatterjee, Sheshagri Rao also seem to say very clearly that they believe that the steel demand is going to be robust going forward. Are you feeling as confident?
See, steel demand being robust is no reason for robustness in steel shares. Because you can always import steel. So there has to be parity with international prices, despite the anti-dumping, right? So what's more important is the cost structure of each manufacturer. Steel can be imported freely, it's not like cement. So demand going up on steel is not going to affect the balance sheets of a lot of Indian companies. India is exporting a lot of steel. And then I just read in JSW that they exported a lot of steel. So I don't feel that robustness in housing demand in India is a big reason for bullishness in steel.
But in general, do you feel confident about the steel sector, about metals?
I can't, depending individually, company to company. It's a company to company matter.
What will be the next big drivers that you would watch out for? We've got the GST. The GST Council is now in the process of finalizing the GST rates. The sense one gets is that it's largely likely to be status quo. The effort will be to try and bring down rates. But do you see that as being a big driver? Is that going to be something that you'll watch closely?
No, I don't think a tinkering of 1 or 2% of rates is really going to make a big difference. Right? Suppose in certain industries where the rate is 24%, they bring it to 18, it could stimulate demand to certain level. But I don't think that the divergence in the rates will be so much that there can be a big
demand. So you don't see GST as a big game changer?
No, but GST will be a big game changer otherwise. Because I think in logistics, cost of logistics, most companies will save 1% at least on logistics cost, for the total cost. There's where the big game changer. Second, I think it will be very difficult to evade GST.
So compliance.
Compliance, which will raise tax revenues. And third thing is, see, it will make the economy more and more digital. So every return is going to be digital. Right, that will help in the overall cleanliness in the economy. I'm very bullish on GST. I think it's going to raise, in my opinion, predictions are from 1% to 8%. I think at least 2.5% of it could raise GDP by 2.5%.
2 to 2.5%.
Over a period of time.
Yeah, but disruption in at least the first year?
I don't think first year different, maybe first quarter.
1 quarter of disruption.
So it was just like demonetization. My opinion was, how will it affect the common man? He's going to consume. He's going to buy a house. He's going to buy a motorcycle. That's what happened. So how will it? Just because GST is come, you're not going to use soap. You're not going to buy a watch. You're not going to buy medicine. So I don't think that the divergence in rates can be a demand stimulator. But it will bring cleanliness to the economy, more tax collections, more procedural, organizational, better systems in businesses.
Sure. One of the other game changers that could have a significant impact is the flow of domestic money into the markets. Over the past 2 years, we've seen about $25 billion coming into the Indian markets via the domestic route. How confident do you feel about this scaling significantly forward?
I'm shouting from 2001, 2002. Okay, foreigners, but there's going to be a tsunami of Indian money. That has to be. Morgan Stanley has reported that the local money in whatever form, mutual funds, insurance, or provident funds or individuals, was about $60 billion in the last 10 years. They are predicting between 425 billion and 825 billion in the next 10 years. And I think they're going to be right.
425 to 825 billion over the next 10 years.
As against 60 billion. Right? So I think there will be a tsunami of money, and I think that demonetization has played a big role. Because a lot of the money was lying into cupboards has come into the banks. So people either invest it or they consume it, right? Or they leave it in the bank. So that has brought a lot of money into the formal economy.
Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you very much for joining us on CNBC TV18 and sharing your thoughts. Thanks very much.